Alright, we're going to do a quick just startup of one of my favorite aircraft in DCS, the UH-1H. We're starting off at forward base Dallas. It's one that I set up on the map just for messing around and practicing. First thing I want to do is get rid of these indicators on the screen for the controls and the crew readiness. This helicopter is pretty much empty of weapons. It's got a little bit of gas in it. So the first thing I'm going to start off with doing is shutting the doors there. Okay, shut the doors. Now we want to start with getting power on this thing. So we're going to set our AC power to AC phase first. We're going to set it to the essential bus. We're going to turn our main generator on so when we start the engine we can get some power. And then we're going to set the battery on. As soon as we do this, we're going to get a low RPM warning sound that we're going to reset. It's a little bit irritating. Okay, now that's off, we'll turn on our force trim and our hydraulics, and then we're going to unlock the throttle until it completely unlocks. There we go. Then we're just going to set it back to idle. Now at this point I would contact the Dallas forward base, but they're not going to respond to me. I haven't figured that out yet. If you look over there, we've got some UH-1 Cobras, Marine helicopters, starting up too. So anyway, that's set. When we're ready, well, let's turn our anti-collision lights on here real quick. Anti-collision's on. Other lights are on. So people know we have power to the helicopter. Let's turn the fuel on. Get ready to start this thing up. It takes about 40 seconds for this thing to start up. You'll notice the RPM on the rotor and the engine start to climb. And you'll notice the rotors are starting to turn. So in about 40 seconds, if it's starting normally, and you're confident that it's pretty much started, you can release the starter and pull the throttle up slowly up to full. That'll set the governor on, and at that point the governor will start to control the RPM on the rotor and the throttle. The radio's already turned on, by the way. This is radio 1. It's an AM radio. We've got radio number 2, which is a UHF radio, and then another FM radio here that's in VHF. This is the one I had set to Dallas, but they don't respond like I said before. This, you switch to the radio that you're using to communicate, to transmit on. You can hear all three radios, you just can't transmit but one at a time. I'm going to turn the ADF on and turn it down. Also, I'm going to set the arm on the dispenser for countermeasures. I usually set it to 3 each. We're not going to need it, but I turned it on anyway. So our radios are set. We want to turn on our IFF to get rid of the indicator here on the warning. And at this point, we're going to set the generator starter to standby, and we're going to provide power from the inverter to our instruments. Now at this point, I'm going to set the lighting in the cockpit the way I like it, so I can see things when I hit shadows and whatnot. Since it's cold out also, I'm going to set the pitot heater on, turn on the radar altimeter, then I'm going to go down here and turn the engine de-ice just in case. I'm also going to set my minimum altitude and my maximum altitude, which you see it said low there. If you're below that, it'll put low. If you're above the high altitude setting, it'll say high. I like to set that to about 1,000 feet, just because in DCS helicopters like to stay low. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the warning sound for the inner and outer NDB on to high and turn up the volume. We don't have one here, it's not going to be that big a deal. Then I'm going to check the compass and make sure it aligns up with the actual compass reading here. With that set, everything's good. Check the warning indicators one more time and reset the master warn caution up here. And we're good to go. At this point, because of the way DCS works, you can see the anti-collision light that's up there shows in the cockpit. It drives me crazy, so I like to turn it off once I've got started. At this point, we're ready to take off. And we're off. Now we just got to stabilize without flying all over the place. Gain some altitude. We're going to turn off to the left and start moving forward. Climbing a little bit as we go. And there we go. And at this point we can stabilize whether we're climbing or staying level or whatever the hell we want to do. So let's turn about here. Run around this forward base. Notice we gained some speed real quick as we got going. We're going about 90 knots now. And as we turn back towards our forward air base, we're going to slow down and come into land a little bit. Let's get some altitude so you can see what we're doing. And there's our forward airbase. Now as I start to slow down, it's going to want to rise, so I got to release some of the collective and pull back on the stick so we don't nosedive. Your controls are always moving in a helicopter, always. You're always adjusting. You move one control, it moves everything. And then we're going to start to get in a rotor vortex state here in a second, so I've got to start increasing the collective again. It'll start to shake here pretty good. Well, that wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but alright. Move on over a bit. Nice and easy down. Here in a second we're going to settle into a hover and ground effect. And then we'll set her down. Set down nice and easy. At this point, we're going to shut it down. We'll throw the throttle out of the governor, move it down. The low RPM warning is going to go off again. We'll just reset that. At this point, we can cut off the fuel to the engine, turn off the force trim and hydraulics, and it'll start slowing down. I'm going to turn off the lights now. Oops, not that one. Turn off the pitot heater, engine de-ice, turn off the radar altimeter, return the lighting in here in the cockpit to default. Dims when I turn it on again. Okay. Force trim's off. I'm going to turn the IFF again. I'm going to reset the low altitude and high altitude. Switch the NDB warning to low again. Turn it down, just because I like to do that. And with that, we'll turn off the inverter for the instruments. Put the generator back to start when ready. Turn off and reset the main generator. I'm going to turn off the battery. and reset. There we go. Reset those back to where they were. And with that, we're pretty much shut down. I guess I should turn off the radios, huh? And turn off the countermeasures. And that's pretty much it. So let's open up the back. Open up our door. And we're back down. Yay. Yay for us.